Welcome, everyone. We have Kyle Stoner, founder of Unreal Estate, a C2V Fund One portfolio company, doing a founder profile of sorts. So, Kyle, why don't you just give us the minute or two on what Unreal Estate is, what you guys do?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, so Unreal Estate is focused on helping sellers who want to sell their homes without using a traditional real estate agent. We've automated much of the work of what an agent does, and then that automation creates tremendous savings. So instead of paying the traditional 60% in commissions, consumers on our platform and businesses sell their home usually at around 2.5%. That's on the sell side. On the buy side, we use virtual agents that we refer our customers to. And again, there's always a savings attached to that. And so, instead of, paying that sort of phantom 3% that most buyers don't even realize they're paying, we're giving a piece of that 3% to the referred agent. And then we're giving a chunk of it back to the consumer in the form of a rebate, saving them thousands. Overall vision of the company is to be an end-to-end marketplace. So being able to both buy and sell residential real estate in a one-stop shop experience where you're being walked through all the things you need to get done in the correct order with complete transparency and always with savings. So mortgage pre-approval, the actual transaction, title, escrow, all in one place.
Great. Well, thanks for that. All right. So we'll get right into it here. So this is your first time founding a business?
No, third time.
Third time. Okay. All right. So question number one then. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do this. So this doesn't, by the way, have to be limited to your three companies. What is the worst business idea that you've ever actually considered pursuing? And by which I mean, even if you just kind of pitched it to somebody else off the cuff.
Yeah. I think the worst one I had, it was, I wouldn't say the bad idea, but it was all the ones I've done. I think it was the worst. It was an idea where basically it was a marketplace for jewelry, where you would, because there's so much lack of transparency in the raw stone and jewelry market. It comes out of this idea of, you go to buy an engagement ring and, you're taught the 3 C's, clarity, cut, color. The average person does not understand really how all those things interplay. And so we were going to try to really upload as much of that data into the cloud and create an app that gave you much more sort of transparency around pricing and all that stuff. It's just a very big, hairy problem that I'm not the right founder to solve. And that's why it wasn't a good idea for me. I think somebody eventually will be smart enough to do it, but we couldn't.
Do you have any experience in terms of rating diamonds or anything along those lines?
Zero.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I agree. Not a great idea, at least not for you. Good. Well, I'm glad you went real estate instead. All right, next question. Is there a business idea that you had at some point that you actually wish you had run with because somebody else has since done it and crushed it?
Yeah, that's actually really easy. So when I applied to business school, I had this idea to do what are called $2 express car washes. This is back in 2007 when I went to business school. But I think at the time, what held me back was because the idea seemed so basic and so sort of just not sexy at all. And I didn't have the confidence yet to know that I could start a business. So I sort of got to business school and went the traditional investment banking, private equity route and did all those things. Meanwhile, now that I've had some experience looking back, what I wanted to do with these car washes, if I would have pitched that, I would have been to any private equity firm, I would have been way ahead of the curve. Now, if anybody that knows the space, this type of car wash has exploded, and private equity has now figured it out and is all over it. You can wash a car for about 35 cents per car, and you could earn up to $15 in revenue per vehicle. So it's just, I'd had some friends in the business locally back in Detroit, and we figured out a lot of the nuts and bolts of it. I did not have the confidence to go out and do it at that age. Now it'd be easy, but and my friends that have done it are making money hand over fist. It's like a joke. But anyway, that's one of the ones I missed.
All right. Good to know. Well, you'll lap them eventually here with Unreal Estate, so no worries there. Great. So what? This being your third, what made you want to do this again?
It's funny now. I got to this point where I can't imagine doing anything else. You get really sort of excited about all the different components of building sort of a world-beating business. And it's everything from the operations to the growth to the marketing to the finance. It's one of these sort of roles or endeavors where if you're into this, if you love business, if you love building, there's no better place than to build software and build a startup. And so for me, it can be extremely painful. You're hearing a lot of no's, especially in the beginning. And if you're doing this right, you have this idea that is unique enough where most people think it's a dumb idea in a way. They're like, why would you want to do that? And then it takes a while to build up the momentum and the snowball to get to the point where people can see the vision that you're pitching. It's incredibly rewarding. But yeah, no, I also think these are sick people that choose to do this, right?
That's actually that was the hidden sort of question behind the question right there, was why would you subject yourself to this again? So I guess along those lines, is it easier or harder this time around in the sense of, surely you know more, obviously a lot more than you did before, but is that worse? Like, is the knowing what the pain is going to be like worse than sort of that naive optimism of the first?
I had enough naivete to still be able to do this. I think it's like, if you knew everything, you wouldn't do it because it's just so difficult, right? But yeah, no, it's helpful. It's helpful. Like, there's a lot, and I'll give you like a really clear-cut example. Design. So, when you go to the unrealestate.com website, you'll see we take design fairly seriously, like culturally within our company. And it took us a while to understand how to get the right design team in place to execute kind of what we had in our head. In my first startup, I had no idea about design and how that comes together and how that interplays with its UI and UX, right? So it has to be beautiful, but it also has to work in a way that's easy for the customer and easy for the user all the time and engaging. All that stuff it's just one example of one thing that now hit the ground running with any kind of concept or idea, because I already have the design team in place that I've used before, and they know how to work with me. I know how to work with them. It's fast, it's beautiful. And that's just one thing. But there are many things like that, whether it be the financial models, all these different components that you're building. It becomes easier once you've done it before.
Right. Makes sense. Okay. So getting into, then this can be, relative to Unreal Estate or any of the others, but, so far in your experience, what is your number one pet peeve with customers? That could be, selling, feedback, whatever.
That's a great question. So because we deal with retail consumers that are buying and selling homes, we're touching multiple players in a real estate transaction. And I think one of the most annoying things is that sometimes we deal with, and you'll see this in our ads, if you go in the comment sections, they're always haters. And when you dig in, you can't tell who the hater is because it's just a person. When you figure out who the person is, it's often a realtor. And the realtor doesn't want to hear that we're reducing fees and challenging their position, which has existed for decades and decades, right? That is really annoying, because then you have to go in and respond in a way that is both, we're still trying to figure out our voice there. We have to confront the false things that these commenters are putting in. We have to be professional when we do it, but we can't take anybody's crap either, right? Because they're just a bunch of haters that don't want to see the industry change. So that's really annoying. We deal with it every day.
I can imagine. Well, yeah, I mean, anytime you're potentially threatening someone's livelihood, with a better version. Continuing with the pet peeves, we've got two more here. Number one, hiring interview pet peeve.
Ooh, you mean from the candidate?
Yes.
So I'll give you an example, a role we've been hiring for. We've talked about this, you and I. We were looking for head of marketing. And, sometimes you'll meet people that get it immediately. And sometimes you feel like you're pitching another investor, because this person's investing their time into your, their time and their talents into your vision too. And sometimes we've had people pull back from it because they don't understand that, for instance, real estate is not a winner-take-all market. And so if they come with that mindset And this could be a marketer that worked in the food delivery space. So somewhere we think, oh, this could be a perfect person for us because they've worked in the two-sided marketplace before. They've done B2C and B2B. There are all these kind of things that line up. But in food delivery, that's a little bit more of a winner take all. And so we'll run into people sometimes where they can't get out of that mindset. It can be really annoying because you can say, this person actually would be great for this role. They have all the things that align with what we're trying to do, but they're stuck in, well, if I can't get 30% market share, I will never take this role. And this is not a business where you can get, the big companies in our space have 2% market share, 1.5% market share. And so sometimes that can be really annoying when you're talking to candidates.
Okay. All right. Last on the pet peeves. Number one, VC pet peeve.
Wasting time. Yeah, we're in a business where you have to move very quickly. And so sometimes, and I've had even some other founders that I mentor, and they'll say, hey, can you give me an intro to such and such VC? And the VC will pass immediately. And I'm like, that is the best thing that just, it's annoying. Yeah. I know you want to meet that person and they don't want to meet with you, but sometimes a fast no versus you get into this thing with someone for months and months, and then they just like, dude, I wasted hours. You could have just told me. That's the big one.
Right. So when you say wasting time, not necessarily spending a half an hour on a totally pointless interview. No, that's not.
No, this is great. I have a really good story about a bad VC meeting.
Please.
Okay. So I had this VC it was a warm intro. He was going to be in Chicago. He's from New York, going to be in Chicago. And he had me meet him and pitch him at his hotel room at like 11 o'clock at night. So it's like, it's already weird, right? You're in a hotel room. It's 11 at night. I'm pitching. And he goes, at the end of the thing, we walked through for a long time. He said, I really like you. He's like, you're great. I hate this idea. I hate it. He's like, he's like, it was early enough where he was almost like, would you consider coming to work for me? Would you be like, because he was like doing this accelerator. So I was like, no, I don't. I'm all in on this idea. I'm not coming to work for you. And he said, well, he's like, I can't guarantee. It's like, he just kind of gave me a halfway. He's like, we can keep talking, but he's like, I just hate this idea. And then he invested in a competitor.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, like years later. It was like a long enough gap, but he invested in this, and we're much larger than now. It's like, it's whatever. The story is funny because I'm like, you hated the idea. You invested in an inferior. Anyway, so that's one of my favorite VCs.
Yeah. Well, I wonder. I mean, maybe that guy did better in his creepy hotel room interview. I don't know.
maybe.
I don't know. We're gonna not go down that path though, because it could get weird quick. All right, moving on. All right, so this is our last sort of startup related, and then we're gonna go into Who is Kyle. What is the meanest and/or funniest feedback that you've gotten on your company / product? You may have just told the story that was it, but this could be from customer, potential investor, a friend, family.
Yeah, we don't really get, so that one was the probably most annoying, most like meanest because they went and invested in this like cloney thing. I think the thing we often get is that, and we often get compared to like Zillow, and people say, well, I don't understand. How is this different? That's like a common thing we get. And so for a long time, we explicitly did not build in search to our platform because we were trying to explain to people that this is not where you come to search properties. You come here to list a home, which then goes out on those search engines. And so we spent a lot of time, and we built up enough, we were doing, thousands of transactions without having any property search. Now, in a weird sort of, reversal, we have to have property search because it plays into some of the content creation stuff that we're doing. But that's one of the things that we will get a lot is like, how is this different? And we always say like, it's actually not at all the same. It's totally different from Zillow. We would hear that a lot from investors in the early days, less so now.
All right. Well, thanks for that. So moving on to our own sort of unique, in air quotes, way of figuring out who's Kyle. Here we go. You're on death row. You have one last meal. What is it?
One last meal. Yeah, I'd probably go with like a really big like steak, like a nice steakhouse sort of, the grilled Brussels sprouts with a nice fillet, maybe some shrimp, mashed potato, one of those kind of traditional
Nice.
steak.
Spoken like a true Midwestern. All right. What's your favorite sport to watch?
So it was Formula One. Last year broke my heart. This deal, I don't know if you guys follow this. They changed the rules in the last 2 laps so that another guy could win. It was BS. It wrecked me for months. I still haven't watched a race yet, but that's usually my favorite.
I take it your guy was
My guy's Hamilton. I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan.
Yes. Sorry, I've done that for a minute. Yes. Got it. Okay. And Verstappen was the one who won, yes?
They handed it to the I'm still flummoxed. I can't explain what they did.
Nice. Yeah, I don't really follow, but sort of hear it get talked about enough that I knew that was controversial among the fan base. All right, favorite sport to play?
Oh, that's easy. Tennis. Tennis first, basketball's close second.
Nice. Okay. How good is your tennis game, would you say?
It's pretty crappy right now because I don't have the time. When I was serious with it, I was, I could be a little dangerous with the sticks, but I play once a week now, Saturday mornings, and it's difficult to watch when I video it so I can try to improve. It's hard to watch it.
But yeah, it is amazing how much startups get in the way of really everything else that you could be good at.
I'd love to learn how to golf, but I just don't have the time to,
Well, that's if you can only play tennis once a week, I don't know when you're going to fit golfing because it's twice the length or whatever, maybe 3 times. All right, what would you say is your least mainstream hobby? So like the most, sort of most exotic, most unusual hobby you've had. Let's assume that you have time for hobbies.
Least mainstream. I'm really into, sneakers have kind of become mainstream. They weren't when I first started collecting sneakers. It was like a weird thing, but now they're apps and whatever.
Yes.
So I'm really into collecting like sneakers, rare streetwear. I'm all over the sites like Grailed, The Real, StockX, etc. I love I don't do pre-owned sneakers, but I will if I find a cool rare Grailed piece that's pre-owned, I'll even go pre-owned if I have to. But on a startup budget, you got to keep your expectations.
Yes, of course.
You not get crazy with it, but yeah.
Do you have a crown jewel of your sneaker collection?
Crown jewel. I've got a pair of Yeezy, I think they're 750s that I waited a really long time. I had to find like a sneaker broker from my old neighborhood in Michigan. the call in a favor, hey, I never call you. I've been waiting for these shoes forever. I cannot pay the markup that you typically see. And he did me a favor and got me a pair of retail.
Wow. I got to tell you, I had known virtually nothing about the sneaker collecting market. Definitely did not know there were brokers, but I guess that makes sense. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird market, and it's gotten more, a lot of people have bots, and so the bots will shop for you. I haven't gotten that deep into it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, you guys get big enough, maybe you can retask one of your engineers to
build me a bot for my sneakers.
Yeah, just build you something to go buy sneakers. Awesome. All right. Moving on. Okay, so you have a table for 4 and access to any person living or dead to join you for dinner. Who are your 3 companions?
This is impossible.
I know. That's why we're.
It's me plus 3.
You plus 3. You can give me some alternatives too if you really can't make up your mind. But
Martin Luther King Jr., Bezos, Jay-Z.
Wow, I like that one. That would be an awesome discussion. I'd love to see where that one went.
Yeah, you got business, you got some civil rights, you got some, the music. I think those 3 together, and I think they could have, I just have to sit back because what am I bringing? But yeah, no, that.
Yeah, well, that's. I think that mine would be the same. What am I bringing to the table here? Great. All right. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna do one more like that one. So you can go back in time and witness any historical event, in person. What would it be?
Oh, man,
give me a top 3 if you need to too. I can't narrow it down.
This is so hard. I know it's like I have to reorient in my brain to. I guess maybe. How much information would I get to see? Full information? That's my thing. Just assume that you. Well, obviously, if we're getting you back in time, we've got some sort of magical powers here where you can. Yeah, you can sort of. You can bounce around and
different perspectives and the whole.
I can think. Okay, so I guess this is super morbid, but JFK assassination. I want to understand
It's a great answer.
what was going on there, and maybe it's super simple. And it is just Occam's razor. It is what it is. Maybe there's something. I'm just curious on that one. How many? Just one, right? We do one.
Yeah. If you want to, you got another one that came to mind. But,
That's the only one I can really. I guess maybe I'd pick like. I'm a little bit of a history buff, not crazy. I might pick like one of those old, Philadelphia democracy form.
Oh yeah, like a Congress meeting or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah,
Those are good ones. Yeah, I like that. Two A+ answers right there. Awesome. All right. So we're almost done here, I promise. We're gonna go desert island. Okay, you're marooned on a desert island. You have a device, we'll assume, for these first couple. You've got music from up to 4 artists / bands. Who are they?
4. Okay, Jay-Z, easy. Pharrell, because that covers his production, so I'm getting his stuff and all the stuff that he produces.
All right.
I'm really into this DJ named Joe K. He has this thing called Selection. Also has these like mixes of all sorts of music. I get 4, is that?
Yeah.
And then maybe I pick a classic like a Prince.
Nice.
So that's 3? That's 3 or 4.
That was 3. That was well, whatever. We'll go one more.
Okay.
If you have it, we don't have to stretch it.
That's all I got. Prince.
All right.
I'll put Prince on there. Yeah.
All right. We'll stick with those. All right. Same question. 4 movies and/or TV series, or up to 4. You don't have to pick 4 if you only have 2.
Okay. For I would go Heat, Godfather.
All right.
Can I do a trilogy? That's kind of cheating, I guess.
Yeah. Go for it. Why not?
I would do maybe like a Star Wars and a Star Trek series.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's a good range you got there. Godfather, absolutely on my 4 movie list. And you got to get one Denzel in there, although I'm more of a Man on Fire, Training Day kind of guy. But
You want the revenge and the crime,
yeah, I can't get enough Man on Fire. I don't know what that is. I think that's my favorite Denzel. But anyway,
it's a good one.
All right, one Twitter follow on your desert island. Who is it?
Somebody that I follow.
Just one. One. If you had to pick one, is there a particular Twitter follow that you would want to have access to? The answer can also be, Twitter is a cesspool, and why would I want that?
I'm going Twitter. Twitter to me is so toxic. I can't even. I barely use it right now.
Right.
I'd be back, but I'm off it right now.
Fair enough. I basically only use it because my partner makes me. So,
VC Twitter is the worst.
If you want, this may be your new one follow. There is an account that is called something along the lines of, it's something like VCs congratulating themselves or
I follow that.
something along those lines. It is amazing.
It's good.
Anyway. All right. Is there so you're saying Desert Island, is there a social media platform that you would really feel like you wanted to continue to have access to, or would you just say, again, social media, who needs it?
I am a TikTok addict. I had to put a thing on my, I have to limit so that I have rules how much I can use TikTok because it is so addictive. I think it's amazing.
Oh, wow. Did not see that coming.
Yeah. It's got everything you want to. So it knows that I like real estate. And so I get a bunch of people that are flipping. I get a lot of flippers and stuff like that. But it also knows I love hip hop, and it knows I love it. It knows you, right? So it's just in a rabbit hole of special interests that you're excited about. It's the best.
That's awesome. All right.
By far the best. It does. I think it's very good, by the way.
Yeah. I mostly didn't see that coming, by the way, because I have no idea what TikTok really even has on it. And
don't even start. You'll be sucked in. It's the
right.
best.
Good to know. All right. Very last question. Desert Island. You have to share the desert island with one C2 Ventures GP. Use. Keep in mind, you might be there a while.
Obviously, because I'm here with you, you're my
You could say Chris. I would question your synonym. You can say that.
You're my guy. We're here doing this together. I'm bringing you on the island.
Awesome. All right. I appreciate it. Kyle, thank you very much for this.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Happy to do it.